All Quentin Grimes needs to know is he needs the ball in his hands. Nobody else is there. I got it. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers postgame show, live from the Xfinity Mobile Studio, along with Derek and Bree. I'm Devon. Sixers win 109-103. They are now 37-31 on the campaign, and they make things so much easier for us to do a show on a Monday after a weekend sweep of their home games against the Brooklyn Nets and the Portland Trailblazers. Really good win for the Sixers as they get ready for a 3-game trip. But first things first, they take care of business at home to improve again to 37-31. The main thing as we start off this post-game show, total team effort. As much as as just laid out Quentin Grimes and everything that he did, total team effort for a really good win with contributions all around tonight from this basketball team in order to lock in this victory over the Portland Trailblazers. And Derek, when you look at it, Grimes with his 30, Justin Edwards with another solid performance of 20 plus, VJ Edgecombe with the double-double with 12 rebounds. We'll get to some of the other performances from others there. But when you look at this one, yes, it starts with just looking at the points of Quentin Grimes, but the total team effort from this team to pick up this victory.
Devon, do you know the most shocking thing about this game? And this game was full of shocking things. They won this game in the third quarter.
Yes, they did.
A 7-point margin and a 6-point win. They made headway in the third quarter. A typical third quarter, they lose this game by double digits. No, I mean, I'm half joking. The third quarter has obviously been a sore spot all year. This was a truly remarkable win. A win that if you watched our pregame show, I did not think they were capable of pulling off, quite frankly. Now, I don't mean literally capable, because in the NBA, especially in the three-point heavy NBA, weird results happen all the time. That being said, I did not see very many pathways to them winning this game, especially not when Sixers shot 7 of 25 from 3. We joked that a 3 for 25 performance, and to their credit, it wasn't a 3 for 25 performance. They still got outshot by 10 made threes from beyond the three-point line. Blazers got them up today, but they found ways to win in other areas, specifically the turnover battle, where they were a +6 in turnovers against the Blazers. And I thought, look, we're going to go up and down the list on some pretty incredible performances, highlighted by Quentin Grimes. Obviously, Justin Edwards having 21 points in 25 minutes stands out in a big way, too. But I really thought overall defense and their activity level up and down that roster was really noticeable. And I think Barlow and Edwards, sort of like spearheaded that effort from the, from the wings, from the forward spots. But Quentin was in there. VJ was in there. Even Drummond, who, had a really good game, I think. Had a couple of deflections, had a really nice block there late. This was, I think, one of their better all-around team performances as a defense that we've seen in quite some time, especially when you then add in who they were missing. I was really, really impressed with, again, their shot wasn't going in, missing a lot of talent. This was an easy game where you could have rolled over very early on in this one. The effort they were able to get defensively, how that was able to springboard them out and get them early offense, it was a really incredible performance.
Yes, it was. To see them, first of all, jokingly, but you're not joking, because they did need that third quarter, 29-22. Solid first half where it looked really good. They were down 2, but they were in the game. All the things that you talk about. VJ Edgecombe was sitting on 9 rebounds at the half. You're seeing Justin Edwards, Quentin Grimes, just the total balance offensively that they had, where we were just asking them to be smart with the basketball, execute things on offense, and give effort defensively, which you just laid out there. And that's what you saw. And then to come out of the locker room, since it's something that it's been a sticking point all season long when we talk about their third quarters, to see them really get after it immediately in that third quarter and score the way that they did. And yes, it was a 7-point victory, but at one point you were looking like this, like, wow, they're about to, obliterate this number in the third quarter, which we don't see. And they maintained it, and they maintained it enough to have enough of a cushion to hold things together for when the Blazers did make their run late in the fourth quarter. The cushion that they built up in that third quarter, it also allowed Nick Nurse to keep VJ Edgecombe on the bench for like what, 8 minutes?
6 or 7 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, of that fourth quarter, because of how well the guys off the bench from Watford and Beauchamp and Payne were playing, along with Grimes and Drummond, where Bona and Edgecombe didn't even see the floor because of how well they were playing. So that cushion that they built up was really, really important from that third quarter, allowing them to win this one. So total team effort defensively. It's great to see that. The up and down pace that they played with offensively too. You like to see them get out and transitioning. And as much as we discussed all season long their issues of defending transition, they did a decent enough job tonight too, where I thought that helped them out, where we have seen too many times, too many athletic players on other teams can get a full head of steam down the floor, or they just simply don't defend it well enough. They foul, whatever it might be that would contribute to points for the opposition. They cleaned a lot of that stuff up tonight. So I give them credit. I give Nick Nurse credit for coaching the way that he did with the players that he had and how they went about things. So it's really good. And then, as we've talked about, can Edwards get some time? Can he stay on the floor? This weekend has really helped him too, with how things have really played out for him. Going back to that Detroit game where we displayed the things that he played in that, even though it was a blowout loss, the things that he did in that one, catapulting now to Brooklyn and now Portland, having these back-to-back days and nights overall with what he has done. Just a really, really good team effort from this basketball team tonight.
No, it really was. And, this is one of those where, for the most part, I look up and down the roster and have something positive to say about pretty much everyone. Obviously, some players played better than others. Some players have things that we will nitpick, so on and so forth. But I thought pretty much everyone, maybe not Kyle Lowry, but that's fine. He's not really supposed to be playing anyway. Pretty much everyone who played a meaningful minute, I can find something where I went like, all right, that made an impact on the game. That impressed me. And when you're talking about having 4 starters out, including 3 max salary contracts, your 3 stars, all of them on the bench, you need to have everyone step into roles that, they are contributing more than they typically will on most nights. And quite frankly, you need everyone on the roster just to find a way to contribute, even if their shot's not going down. And I do think this was one where I'm really impressed with the way they were able to do that. I do think you probably have to start off with Quentin Grimes. This was vintage last year, Quentin Grimes performance, 31 points on 22 shots. He made a bunch of really big, tough shots. And again, this was another performance where his 3-point shot wasn't necessarily going in. He only made, what do we got here? One for 4 from 3. VJ and Quentin combined for 2 for 9 from 3-point range. Again, when you look at that, tell me that coming into the game, I don't think they're winning this one, but they found a way. But man, Quentin, he was able to get downhill. And early on, I thought it was probably a little bit of like, hey buddy, maybe not challenge that monster Klingan every time you get an opportunity to, because that's the real tough contest that he's going to put up there. But I thought he did a really good job of continuing to find ways to attack, continuing to, whether that's using the rim to shield, or it's using his offhand, just coming up strong. He was a real force getting the basket, and obviously he made a bunch of pull-up mid-range jumpers as well. A really efficient overall night for Quentin to lead them in this one.
And he was still doing, so he's our player of the game tonight, even though some of the others had some really good performances. Quentin Grimes, our player of the game. Derek just laid out his stats, 31, 3, and 3 on the night. And this is, when you look at what he does, and he still had moments for me, Derek, where I was like, slow down, man. Again, slow down.
He always will, Devon. It will be 5 years from now. He will have those moments. He's not outgrowing that. I'm
like, slow down, man. Take it easy. You're going to get to your spot. You're doing a pretty good job. Slow down. But it was his type of game. It was a fast-paced up and down game. It was a game where he is either the first or second option. Tonight he was the first option. And this is the Quentin Grimes that we saw last season in March when it didn't matter. But these types of performances, 25, 30, 40 points on any given night to go along with the other stats, from rebounding to assists to playing a solid two-way game as well defensively, where he did some really nice things, got some steals on the sideline, wasn't selfish with the ball, giving the ball up for others to get their opportunity there in the open floor, especially. So he was in a really, really good place tonight. And we've seen this before. And this is when we talk about, hey, yeah, you have to elevate and step up into a larger role. We know you can do it. It's not all on you, man. It's not all on you. We know you're capable of scoring the points. It's the other stuff that we saw a season ago when they were tanking and he was putting up those types of numbers that had us confident that he would get a really nice payday this offseason. And this is all you ask for. Just be a little bit more consistent, be under control. The strength going to the basket. He is very strong when he gets to the basket and finish against Clingan and Robert Williams and some of the others that he has there. He can finish there and get to the free throw line as well. And this is what you want from him. And I know it's asking a lot in the role that he is playing as the third guard, but maybe the fifth or sixth option, depending on who's on the floor on those nights where the others are out there with him. But when it is he and Edgecombe, it's 1 and 2. And you count on the veteran a little bit more to be able to score because we've seen it and he's seen, there's no defense that he hasn't seen trying to figure things out. It's just a matter of how he's going to attack it. And I thought he really attacked it the right way tonight, more under control than we've seen all year long, honestly. And this is the Quentin Grimes that they're going to need in order to stay in this race and keep themselves in the conversation with the others and maybe possibly moving back up a little bit more in those play-in standings.
Yeah, and look, this was you are going to need every win you can get, especially if you want to avoid that 9-10 play-in matchup. Because again, with that 9-10 play-in matchup, you have to win 2 games in a row in order to make the playoffs proper.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get into that 7-8 playoff matchup, you can lose the first one as long as you then win the second one. You're it. So 7-8, you only have to win 1 out of 2 games. 9-10, you have to go on a 2-game winning streak in order to make the playoffs. And I think they're tied with 8 right now. Is it tied with Atlanta coming in?
Mm-hmm.
So any win you can get until you get Joel back, any win you get before Joel and Kelly and Paul, those are huge wins, especially when they're wins. Like it's one thing to beat Brooklyn, which we all kind of like. If you were gonna have any chance, we penciled that in right from the jump as one that you had to get. But if you're going to pick up sort of these unexpected wins, and look, it's not like the Blazers are a great team. Like they're a pretty bad offensive team. I mentioned they get up threes, which they do. I think they're 4th in the league in 3-point attempts. They are, I think, 2nd worst in the league at actually converting them, which in that first one, I think they shot 53 threes in that when they blew out the Sixers a little while ago and shot 40% on them. This is a little more like their typical night. So, it's not like, again, the Blazers are a great team. This was, if there's going to be an upset, this was going to be the ones that you were going to, pinpoint. But I certainly didn't expect it given who the Sixers have out. So it is like I wrote about this earlier today. I am not pro tanking, and not for this season, I should say. Not as a concept, I don't hate it, but in terms of it being logical to pursue this year, I don't see it. This was one of those few teams that are below you in the standings that you could realistically pick up a win that's not one of the really bad ones, and to come out here and get this on the second night of a back-to-back is, I think, a real good sign. And look, the Sixers are oddly really good on the second night back-to-back. They are now 11-3 on the season on the second night of a back-to-back, which feels like it should never happen. It feels like it should be an inverse of that. You should be 3-11 on the second night of back-to-back. But, I used to always think that they were good on the second night because it seemed like the first night was when Joel would rest and the second night was when he would play. Yeah. That's out the window now. Now they're just winning games on the second night of a back-to-back. In fact, this one they're sweeping it. So this was a real good one if you want to try to. I still think they're going to have a tough time unless Joel comes back sooner than expected. Not sooner than expected. Unless Joel comes back this week and you start reeling off some wins. They're going to struggle to stay in the top 8. But if you're looking for them too, this is a real big win.
Yeah, and Mr. James says, tank, please stop winning when it comes to these games. Not there with you, Mr. James. James, they need to win. And just want to correct us both. With this win and Toronto's win against Detroit a little bit earlier, the Sixers are in 8th right now. They are half game up on Atlanta because Atlanta played yesterday. They're idle today. So the Sixers are in 8th right now, and they currently trail with the win for Toronto. They trail the Heat by a game. and the Raptors by a game and a half. As far as the Orlando Magic, they have a 2-game lead over the Sixers. Sixers half game up on the Atlanta Hawks right now, and a full 3 games on Charlotte, who drops back down to 10. And Atlanta has won 9 games in a row overall. So I'm with you. I saw the piece that you did. Haven't read it yet, but I saw it or did retweet it. And that I'm with you. You know, I'm with you. And we talked with Kyle about this as well, that I'm on your side. I'm not looking at the tank right now. So Mr. James, sorry, man, we're not with you on this one. Win these basketball games, get in, and let's see what happens. It's frustrating because we'll talk about it one way after they lose, and of course we'll talk about it another way after they win. But as you said, this was a remarkable one to take both of these games after playing the way that they did yesterday and walking away with the W, but a much better complete performance, full 48. And while Portland did make it interesting at the end, you can only ask so much of this particular group of Sixers to maintain when you know there's going to be a run that happens. Can you at least do enough to hold it off? And that's exactly what they did in holding this one off to keep it in the win column tonight. And that's exactly what they did. So really good win for the Sixers, 109-103 over the Portland Trailblazers. They have now won after this one 2 in a row. Next up, a 3-game road trip, but let's break this one down, and we will continue to do so on the other side. We will come back with the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Later on, we'll give you the Togo Unsung Hero. On the other side, the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Sixers win, solid win, really solid win over the Portland Trailblazers. Final score, 109-93. We'll come back, we'll get to the big takeaway and much more on the PHLY Sixers postgame show.
Guys, whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or scullies, as Devon would say, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. At PHLY, we've been working with Branded Bills for a little bit. You've seen some awesome custom hats that we've made with Branded Bills. The Eagles Kelly Green, got a nice black one, got a Sixers themed one. If you're looking to make your gear stand apart from the crowd, I need you to go to Branded Bills. They have you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel that you need. They also have partnerships with different colleges, different local sports teams all over the place. They have a partnership with Penn State as part of their campus collection. Make a part of your campus collection. What do you have to lose? They are the best. Head to brandedbills.com and use the code BBPHLY for 15% off of your first order with Branded Bills.
All right, it's tournament time, everybody. I love it. You love it. But the problem is sometimes you can't find all the games, right? Well, no problem. We've got you covered at Sling TV, one of the most flexible ways to watch live television. And with the college conference tournaments already in play and the big tournament looming, Sling TV gives you access to all the games and more control over how and where you tune in. Check this out. Sling has flexible 1, 3, or 7-day pass options. That means instant access to live TV for the men's and women's tournament. And you can get a day pass starting at just $4.99. Sling is celebrating the chaos that everyone loves about the tournament. They are making it more fun to root for the underdogs this year. If you purchase any pass from Sling and get 12 through 16 seed, makes it to the round, hey, the next day your pass is just $1. If an underdog wins, then you win too. Live TV your way. Learn more at sling.com/underdog. No purchase required. To learn more and see the full rules, visit sling.com/underdog. Back here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show, 109-103, the final score. It's time for the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com to learn more. All right, Derek, solid overall team performance, as we said at the top. Really good win and a really good weekend, despite getting the news about Kelly Oubre and Tyrese Maxey, those guys being down. Really good weekend for this team. 2 wins that they needed to stack the W's as we talk about. And with this road trip coming up, you wanted to get these 2 out of the way. You'll get to Utah, you'll get to Sacramento, you'll worry about that on Thursday and Saturday. But for what needed to be done this weekend, great job by them in handling it.
No, it really is. And like I said, I expressed a ton of doubts. And it is one of those where I'm just really impressed by the depth of the performances. Like even someone like Adembona, and I think this was a bad matchup for Adem, and I think he got hit on the offensive glass because of it. But I thought he gave you really good effort just in terms of pursuing offensive rebounds on the other end, keeping plays alive on the other end. You found, even though this is a bad matchup, he only played 13 minutes, in part because he couldn't keep Klingon off the glass. But I thought not that he made up for it on the other end, but I thought his pursuit on the other end gave you multiple extra possessions that the Sixers were able to convert. And if he is he was probably one of the worst players among the rotation players. If even he is finding a way to use his energy and hustle and physicality to impact the game, then everybody else is finding another way too. And it was just really impressive. Like I said, the overall depth of the performance, how we got contributions up and down the roster. I thought this was a real encouraging win.
Agreed. And with it, let's talk a little bit about some of the players in the mix of it because of what Justin Edwards was able to do. We talk about how it was an important weekend. It was an important weekend for him. And the way that he finished off the night with 21 points, 9 of 14 shooting. He didn't make his threes on Saturday, but he made 3 for 5 tonight there, Derek. He also had 2 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, and just 2 turnovers in 25 minutes for Justin Edwards. So not just the fact that the team themselves needed this one, but it was also that some of these players needed this. And Justin Edwards was one of them, that he needed that game against the Detroit Pistons, as shorthanded as they were, to just show some stuff. And then that carried over into Brooklyn. You have a quick turnaround where you're playing again, like Allah says sometimes. Tyrese said, I wish we could play again. I wish we can get right back out there on the floor. Well, right back out there on the floor, and whatever he was feeling yesterday, despite that he couldn't make a 3, it carried over into tonight, and the 3-point shot came with it. Mm-hmm. The defense remained, and he played another solid game. So as much as it was, as we say again, the team needed it, so did some of these individual players, and Edwards was one of them.
Yeah, and look, he came out, and his first 2 threes were off the dribble. Now, one of them was maybe the slowest step back 3 I've ever seen. It's not exactly like that was a real quick sequence of events, but he created some space and then very slowly stepped back into a 3. And, I thought those 3s going in, look, he was already playing with confidence because he's been playing really well for the last couple of games, but it was mostly at the rim, mostly from mid-range. Once those first 2 threes went in, then it looked like all of a sudden he's like, oh, okay, I can use that pump fake and set up a floater. I can use the threat of my shot to set up some driving lanes. And next thing you know, he's like crossing guys up, and you're like, where in the world did this come from? He's making, one-handed off the dribble skip passes to the corner. He's making some pretty nice passes and playmaking as well. And like I said, the defense over the last really week or two has been really sharp, and he's really gotten into passing lanes. And, if he's going to start putting these together, like I said, you've got a little bit of time here where you're playing without not only Paul George, but Kelly. You desperately need some contributions from the wing. You desperately need Justin to step up. And a guy who we've had really no expectations for and has quite frankly been out of the rotation for a good chunk of the season is all of a sudden giving you consistent basketball in big spots when you desperately need it the most. I don't know what entirely to make of it. Like, he's not going to be playing.
That's where I was going to go too. Like, what are we supposed to do with this?
I don't know if I'm sitting here saying he's going to be a contributor in the playoffs. He could very well fall out of the rotation once again. But if he is going to help you get from point A to point B and show you he's got this potential, it's great, first of all, because you need someone to help you pick up wins. But it also gives you just a little bit of, I don't want to say optimism, but a little bit of intrigue in the future for a player who I think a lot of the fan base had pretty much counted out here as of a month ago.
So say what says this one pretty well in the chat about the team. And I think this also applies to what you're just talking about with Justin Edwards. I can't believe we took both these games with the taxi squad. This team makes no sense. Well, that's the thing about the Justin Edwards part, because Derek, this is the stuff that, as we mentioned, Grimes, who's a veteran though. So, it's what it is. But with Edwards, we saw the off the bounce stuff that gave us that little bit of, I saw that. Can this play over into next season when everybody's back? Can he put the ball on the floor time to time in this 15 minutes that he's out there? Can he take a couple of guys off the dribble? Can he get to the spot right around the free throw line, fade away, and it's more than likely a all-netter when he takes that fadeaway jump shot off the bounce? And can he then feel pretty good about himself where he gets out and the transition dunk at the end is one thing, but he tries to dunk on people in the half court too if he has a full head of steam. That's why when Say What says that, it's like, this stuff makes no sense. Yes, guys need time on the floor to feel confident and to get their confidence up, to feel good about what they're doing and being able to feel like their teammates trust them, the coach trusts them as well. But what are we supposed to make of this? As you said, as Say What just pointed out, it makes no sense. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. So that's where we are with this group. And with that, that's our big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Visit xfinity.com to learn more. See us in 4K every time you check us out on the television side at your home with Xfinity. But
turn that resolution down. You do not need to see this in 4K. Trust me. I'm glad your TV has it. I'm glad Xfinity provides it. But do yourself a favor. 480 is all you need. It's all you need for this show. For this show.
Okay. Yeah, for this show. So you better love somebody says with Edwards, it's all about confidence. I mean, look, he is still a young guy, still fighting for his NBA life. Nothing is guaranteed, even though he got his standard deal. As we saw with Ricky Council, what's up? Go get him, Rick. Nothing is guaranteed. And because of that, yeah, maybe from time to time, his head may drop a little bit if he's pulled off the floor or yanked out of the rotation by the coaching staff because the results weren't good in his 5 to 7 minute stint that he's out there. But when he gets a full run and he feels good, and the confidence, as You Better Love Somebody points out, this is what you get. You don't need the 20 plus every night. You just need him to be a part of the rotation and the intrigue, as you say, to be there for the remainder of the season, and more importantly for next year as well, to be a part of what they are looking to do in the future.
No, and it is, and quite honestly, this is why most coaches prefer veterans for role players. And you see this a little bit with McCain too, not to bring up a sore subject from earlier today, but it's not like McCain is playing huge minutes. He's just playing a consistent minutes and a consistent role every single night. And I think that's part, not the whole reason, probably not even the primary reason, but a part of why he is thriving now with OKC, where he wasn't here in Philly. And I think Justin, it's a little bit the same. Like, I think him playing, knowing he's going to get 20, 25, quite frankly, he should have gotten more. I don't know why he only played 25 minutes and ended up with 21 points. I would have liked to see him on the floor for more, but he knows he's going to get a pretty good amount of run, and he's going to have the ball in his hands, and he's not just standing in the corner looking to take a shot. And it's tough because when everyone's healthy, you kind of need him to just stand in the corner and look to take a shot. Like, you can't run. You know, he's going to be the fifth option on offense a lot of times out there. You need someone who's going to be a spot up, quick catch and shoot shooter, especially in Knicks offense, which doesn't necessarily run the most offense off or movement off the ball. But I think it's also tough for him to get into any kind of rhythm when he's largely, playing 5-10 minutes max and trying to get, being asked pretty much just stand in the corner and shoot. So I think it's probably tough for a young player. You do need to find a way for him to translate what he's doing now and the confidence he has while he's doing it now into a smaller role when everyone comes back. But in the meantime, boy, am I happy you're getting this version of Justin, because you desperately need it.
And I also think that when you talk about why did he only play 25, he was part of that wave where in the fourth quarter, he and Edgecombe were sitting on the bench while Beauchamp, Watford, and Payne were doing what they were doing and continuing to build the lead up the way that they did with Grimes and Drummond on the floor with them as well. So that's why I think he got caught in that numbers crunch there at the end for just the 25 minutes tonight. So solid night for the Sixers overall, solid run here for this weekend for Justin Edwards. And they're going to need it on the road too. Big ask on Tuesday against the Nuggets, but maybe not when it comes to the Kings and the Jazz down the line. We'll get to your super chats a little bit later as well. Coming up on the other side, we have our Togo Unsung Hero. A lot of candidates for this one, everybody. So as always, drop those candidates in the chat as we go to break. Let us know who you feel the unsung hero is for tonight, and we will reveal who ours was for the Sixers' 109-103 win over the Portland Trailblazers. Next up, the Denver Nuggets, the unsung hero on the other side on the PHLY Sixers postgame show.
Guys, Wawa always comes through for us because we work a lot of late nights. We have a lot of crazy days and mornings, practices, shoot-arounds, games, and sometimes you just realize, I forgot to eat. Wawa has me covered no matter what time of the day it is with big deals. We've been talking a lot about the $5 big breakfast meal deal where you get a sizzly, any kind you want. I'm a bacon, egg, and cheese on a croissant guy. You get a hash brown, and then any type of coffee, any size. I'm getting the biggest iced coffee that they have from 5 to 11 a.m. That's just $5, and the deals don't stop there. You can get a roasted or crispy chicken sandwich created your way for $5 all day, and they even have a new teriyaki recipe for a limited time. Real food, real value, built for the busiest days you got. It's only a limited time and exclusions apply. So I need you guys to go to wawa.com for details and then take advantage of these great $5 deals all day. You already know it. You got to have a Wawa.
All right, everybody. What kind of dreams did you have when you were a kid? What did you want to be when you grew up? Did you want to be an entrepreneur and start your own business? Well, Shopify is a great place for you to do so if that's still your goal at this stage of your life. Shopify is the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Right here at PHLY, our store is geared up by Shopify. Our PHLY merch store, Shopify helps us out there, and they can help you out too. Shopify has got you covered with website creation, product descriptions, email and social media marketing, and much more. Also, AI tools designed to help maximize your sales. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. That's shopify.com/allcity, everybody. Cha-ching. Back to the PHLY Sixers post-game show. Cha-ching!
I desperately want a cha-ching for my soundboard now. In the meantime, I'm just going to have to settle for.
Got to drop the cha-ching. Bree has that sound bite there. So go ahead, you for the soundboard. So ask Bree to transfer that one over there, or where she got it from.
This is my version of the cha-ching, and I prefer it.
That is pretty good. I like that one too. All right, this is also pretty good. The Togo Unsung Hero, presented by Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Go ahead, check out Togo for much, much more. All right, who did we get? I didn't check and see who everybody voted for. I know there was a lot of conversation going on with some other stuff in there. I can't see. Oh, North Carolina. Mr. James, they were talking about draft picks, so they didn't get the questions answers in there for our question, but we have our answer. And Derek, it is 1, Andre Drummond, the unsung hero, 6 points, 17 huge rebounds for the Sixers, 4 assists. Even though I know what you're going to get to when it comes to the assist or lack thereof, he played off the bench. 34 minutes to bonus 13. And look, tonight was his night. He had a couple of, really good footwork finishes in the paint where, some spin moves under control, little flip shots over the left shoulder.
Couple of out of control bank shots, but that's fine. They went into.
That's all right. Got to the 6 points, man. And I mean, we got to give it to him. We got to give it to him and go with Andre Drummond tonight, the unsung hero.
No, look, after like the first stint, they desperately needed him. Clingan is an incredible offensive rebounder.
I love how you're sticking with the Klingon thing.
What are you gonna do?
That's all others do it too.
I mean, it's anyway. Clingan was an incredible offensive rebounder. He is really tough to keep off the glass. He's frankly just too big for Bona. And this was one where, like, coming in, I think by and large, Bona has outplayed Drummond by a long shot for the last 2 months at least. But coming in, you thought this was a matchup where Drummond was maybe the better matchup. Now, that being said, you come in and you don't feel great about it because Drummond is just not playing good basketball. but maybe even Drummond not playing good basketball, you still might need him just for his rebounding. Well, he actually played really good basketball in this one. I thought he was really good as a hub of an offense with a couple of very notable exceptions, which I'm sure we'll get to. I thought he protected the rim in ways that he just hasn't. Like, he got off the ground quicker than he has in quite some time. And the rebounding was huge, and sometimes Drummond can, his numbers can be inflated and he's not really getting a lot of the contested rebounds. He's not really making the impact on the glass and on controlling the glass that his numbers would suggest. Well, I thought this one, he had a number of really tough contested rebounds. He had a number of really good tips that he didn't even get credit for the rebounds for. And I thought for the most part, he did a really good job. Like, this is a Portland team where they are a strong offensive rebounding team. Donovan is a strong offensive rebounder individually. And this was one of the keys. Like, there's really two keys against the Blazers. Hope they don't have a unreasonably hot shooting night like they did against the Sixers the first time, because they're not a good 3-point shooting team, even though they launch them as much as anyone in the league. And don't let them destroy you on the glass and then transition. And I think Drummond was really key in controlling that.
He was really good. And when you talk about what Donovan Clingan does there on just the size and how different it is when it comes to a Dembona, you're absolutely right. I agree with you 100% with how he played, and that's why we gave him the award. At least I see on my screen, it looks like it's frozen on.
Yeah, you're frozen, man.
Yeah, but I can still talk, right?
Because I know that I was the frozen one earlier, so we're just taking turns.
But you can still hear me, so that's okay. So it just goes along. It goes okay with how things are going here. But hey, great job from Andre Drummond tonight. Unsung hero presented by Togo, leader in operations outsourcing when it comes to good people from Togo. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute at Togo. All right, now we're back here. And as we
you're still, I was really curious when we came back from the break whether or not we get a refreshed Devon, but nope, there you are. At least you're not stuck. Like, imagine if you're stuck picking your nose for the next 5 minutes. So I guess it could be worse.
This has to be Bree has to take a screenshot of this, and anytime she wants to mess with me, this could be the screenshot. So
it's so funny though, because your audio is fine. It's not even, there's no robot voice. There's no nothing. Your audio is fine.
I don't know. Maybe I refreshed another page, and when I refreshed that page, it just kind of threw things off. All right, so we're gonna take a break. We come back. We get to your super chats. We'll talk about some of the others because look, we got to talk about Beauchamp's minutes. We have to talk about Cam Payne and what he did out there as well, and so many of the other players. And we will do that as we go to break. And I refresh things, and I guess I have to go and get Xfinity.com myself and just refresh it. When we come back, we'll keep it going right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show.
Team, there's no reason to push through pain when world-class care is this accessible with Rothman Orthopedics. Rothman Orthopedics is setting the standard in orthopedic treatment, and they've got the recognition to prove it. I am one of them. After they have repaired both my ACL and my Achilles, I can speak to it. Castle Connolly ranked them the #1 physician practice nationally for having the most top doctors in orthopedic care. That's experience and excellence that you can trust. I can attest to it. If you're ready to check it out, schedule your appointment today at rothmanortho.com/PHLY. If you want VIP access, the Fast Scheduler program helps you line up an appointment with the right specialist. And with Rothman now, you can connect immediately with an orthopedic expert for real answers and next steps. I got it all together, everybody. At Rothman Orthopedics, it's simple. Your mobility is their mission. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY and get back to moving the way you're meant to.
All right, Philly, got a quick shout out, something awesome coming to the city. If you love boxing, live events, or just a wild night out, and I like all three, check out Team Boxing League. When the Phillies smoke, step into the ring March 20th at the Fillmore, a rematch of last year's championship against the New York City Attitude. You don't want to see a Philly team lose to New York ever, and this isn't your typical boxing event. Team Boxing League's fast, high energy, built for fans, Non-stop action. The crowd's right on top of it. It's a big fight atmosphere with a Philly edge, the kind of night where every punch gets the room going. And the Philly Smoke are representing the city against New York. You got to take advantage of that. If you want to be there live, grab your tickets right now at teamboxingleague.com. Teamboxingleague.com. Use promo code PHLY when you check out to score your tickets. Get in on the action. Again, that's March 20th at the Fillmore. Come out and support the Philly Smoke as they take on the New York City Attitude. Get your tickets at teamboxingleague.com and use the code PHLY.
I'm back here on the PHLY Sixers post-game show. I'm back. All I had to do was refresh everything on the screen, and it was fine. So, yeah, just a little glitch in the matrix there here on the post-game show as the Sixers win 109-103. I saw that somebody said that Ryan Coogler, Derek, he won an Oscar tonight. I didn't see, we got to check that one out and find out what happened with Ryan Coogler, because Sinners was fantastic. Even though I don't like period pieces, that was a good one, Derek,
Don't get me started on the period pieces. That was a trigger word right there, and I'm not falling for it. I am not falling. I do have to say,
yeah.
Look, Drummond was good. All right. He was good. He was needed. Nick needed to make that adjustment if they're going to win that game.
Yeah.
Those bounce passes in traffic have got to stop. He has got to stop. Those were drive, and there were only 2. So again, I don't want to overstate its value in this game, but oh man, does he cause me some gray hairs? You are not a bounce pass point center, please.
Not with the tight window. Not with the tight window like that. A little more, we've seen it earlier in the year. Some of those he connected on. Maybe he's feeling inspired by the video that he watched with Embiid, where Embiid makes those passes to Tyrese Maxey. But I thought he had a couple of good passes early. But when you make those couple early that make their way to your teammates' hands, then you get really, really confident. And you're like, yeah, I can make this pass again. And it didn't work out for a few of those times that had Derek pulling his hair out. No, so I know. So Jack Reacher says Drum probably needs to retire the pocket pass to the slasher, though. So you weren't alone. You weren't alone on that one.
Good Drummond game. I just want to be clear. He does drive me nuts sometimes.
Yes. All right, Jay the Jungle with the super chat. Everybody, what up, Jay? 2 huge wins. Keeps a late season surge out of the play-in possible and helps build confidence that they can win some of these non-star games. That's Jay of the Jungle.
Yeah. No, look, I've talked about this. I've written about it. I have they are not missing. They're not falling behind Milwaukee. They're not missing the play-in tournament. So at that point, we could go over the odds. The odds jump from 11th in the lottery should they lose the play-in to 14th. It's not all that huge. I am not a tanking proponent this year. First of all, I just want to give them a chance to play in the playoffs. I want to see whether or not VJ and Embiid can, or Tyrese and Embiid can get back to where they were. And I want to get VJ reps in the playoffs. So I really don't want to. I know some people will get to the play-in and want to lose just to get a 7% or a 5% or whatever that ends up being chance at keeping the pick. I am not there. So if I want to make the playoffs proper, I really want to avoid that 9-10 playing game. And these wins are huge in trying to do so, because if Joel comes back, and again, the update was he's back doing individualized workouts, they're hopeful that there's a chance. I forget the exact wording, but basically they're hopeful that there's a chance he might be able to join the team at some point on this 3-game road trip. If that happens and all of a sudden you start playing more competent basketball, then these last 2 wins will be huge, because it gives you a real legitimate chance of trying to keep and stay in that top 8. This will have a lot of work cut out for them, like Miami and Atlanta, even though I think Miami lost their last game. But they're both playing pretty good basketball.
They played Orlando and lost.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you're going to have your work cut out for you.
Let's go to thank you. We appreciate that super chat. Jay Davon says no Nurse credit for this W. When he's less involved, they play to their strengths. Nurse sucks at manufacturing and maximizing all players, not just stars.
I mean, he should get some credit. Like, look, this is the kind of game that we always say, like, Nurse can't win. Nurse, like, we need Doc for these games. We need Doc for these shorthanded games. He finally wins one, and I think it's unfair to not give him any credit.
I agree. All right, that's why I said you got to give Nurse credit at the top of the show for what he did today. Not so much yesterday. It's more about today, this evening, and what they did in getting this W. So, Davon, I get the frustration, understand it. I hear you, but yeah, I'm with you, Derek. You got to give him some credit for this one. Even in the fourth quarter where they had it running, where Watford, Payne, and Beauchamp were doing some nice things out there, he gave them a runway to do so. And when it started to shrink, he brought back Justin Edwards and VJ Edgecombe in this one.
And Music Lover, he says he's too broke for a counter super chat. So we got you, Music. Don't worry. But he says his counterpoint was that the Drummond for Bona thing was excellent coaching. And I'm not sure it was excellent coaching, but I think it was a much needed adjustment. Like, I'm not sure if they win this game if he sticks with his initial game plan of matching Bona and Clingan. So I think it was a good call. And I think it's fair to call that out.
Yeah, I agree with that one. So thank you, Davon and Jay.
Klingon.
We appreciate the super chats.
Sorry.
Klingon.
I'm not even a Star Trek fan, but it just sounds right, you know?
It just sounds better. I get it. And how about Tumani Kamara couldn't make a shot today, but when they played them right before the All-Star break at the end of that trip, he couldn't miss. He was 10
No, and he made that
threes.
When did he make his first one? Like in the third, I think.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, this better not be the start of a hot streak from him. But it was not.
It was not. It was not. All right, a couple of guys to highlight a little bit here. Beauchamp played 14 minutes, and they were meaningful minutes, Derek. And as we talked about, Cam Payne, we know he gets his run, and Trendon Watford. So what did you take away from what those two guys were able to do? And also, I mean, we've gone kind of long where we didn't really speak extensively about VJ Edgecombe's game, but VJ and also Beauchamp and Watford.
So like a third of the players who played. All right, let's get them all wrapped up quickly. No, I mean, look, Beauchamp is a legitimate NBA defender. You're not entirely sure what he's going to do offensively outside of run the break. Didn't really do a whole lot offensively here tonight. In fact, he didn't make a shot. But I do think I do think the effort he gives you, his ability to match up with multiple different archetypes, like I think he can move his feet relatively well. I think he has good length, so he can defend better, bigger players. I think he can hold up pretty well in a bunch of matchups, and he gets out in transition. And I think that is a nice addition to have there. VJ was, again, a bit of a weird game. Didn't necessarily create a lot of, like, this wasn't one of his better passing games, which, again, coming off of his previous game, I thought was a pretty good passing game. Yeah. Didn't make a ton of perimeter shots, but, he hit, who did he hit that? I think it was over Kamara. He hit that really big,
when he took a peek at the
mid-range. Yeah. Where he didn't get anywhere with his dribble. And I thought this was another game where, like, you could see VJ had some work to do on that dribble. But when the shot clock running down, him not getting anywhere off the dribble, he just rose up and made a really tough shot. The kind of shot that, I think if we would have saw leading in, not to compare him to another draft prospect, but the kind of shot that got a lot of people excited about maybe somebody who's currently in Utah. That's not something he necessarily had in his bag at this point last year. It was a really tough shot, and he made a bunch of plays like that. I do think this was a game where, the box score is not going to be elite. 8 for 18, 8 points. I thought he made a lot of, if that was the one where you go, all right, that wasn't in his bag a year ago. I think a lot of the rest of the game was stuff that would have been on the scouting report and stuff that you would have looked at and said, well, that's a winning kind of basketball player. I thought he was really good defensively. I thought he did a real good job of generating turnovers and helping you get out in transition. And obviously his efforts on the glass, that was something we pinpointed earlier in the show, that this was one of the keys that you needed if you were going to win this game, was to help control the glass, or at least prevent the Blazers from, having too many extra possessions. And he was crucial in that. And he just got to a lot of loose balls. And like I said, with the perimeter shot not really there, with the struggling to really get by his guy off the dribble in the half court all the time, he still found a way to be a real impact player.
I thought he was going to end up with like 15 rebounds. The way he was hitting the boards early with 9, I'm like, oh, there's no way he doesn't get 15 here tonight with the way he's rebounding that basketball and attacking the glass, also picking up those loose ones. I mean, even though I think it was his 10th or 11th board where he tried to put that putback dunk that was a wedge that turned into a wedgie, that's the type of energy that you needed. And look, Drummond collected 17, but somebody else had to pick up the slack, and he certainly did that. And crashing the glass. So the other stuff will continue to come. This is the first time that he is in this spot, as you pointed out on the show yesterday while you were at the arena, the video that you had on our PHLY_Sixers Twitter account that went viral because of what he said about being double teamed and handling this type of pressure. Nick Nurse in the pregame, what Kyle shared with us, the conversations that they were having after Saturday's game and what he wanted him to do coming into tonight. There's still an adjustment with him in that role, and that's where Quentin Grimes is important next to him. That is where Cam Payne and Watford are important to have those, to be able to take some of that pressure off of him. But when he gets the ball back, he doesn't have to think too much. He can just look at what he's doing, get to a spot if there's a shot available, cool. If not, just make the right pass. It doesn't have to be a great pass. Just make the simple pass that could just very well lead to a really, really good looking shot for his teammates. So great turnaround finish on Kamara as he turns and looks down the other end of the floor at the shot clock to see exactly how much time he had to work with. That's his athleticism, his ability to get that shot off. So really good work by him. Just to continue with Watford, it's funny as he's gotten a little bit more time, and we saw this a little bit earlier. The way he jaws with some of the opponents, where he's always talking, sometimes it could be a detriment. The other times, that's a good thing to have on the team, where you have somebody just kind of barking back and forth with some of the other players on the team. So I don't mind that. And we know about him playing back to the basket with his big body with some of those smaller defenders, where he knows that he can take advantage of them. And 7 points, just 2 boards and 3 assists, but I didn't mind the Watford minutes out there tonight. He was 0 for 2 from 3. One of them came on where he had to just throw one up because it was against the shot clock. So that wasn't his fault. But I know a lot of people in the chat did not like his minutes, but I didn't mind him. Maybe he didn't need to be out there for 27, but I didn't mind his minutes.
Yeah, I think it was one where like the last handful of minutes were probably a bit of a struggle. I think it was also one where in the first half he was playing pretty good basketball. So I didn't mind his minutes is probably about the way that I would describe that too.
Didn't mind. Yeah.
But he wasn't certainly one of the keys or the players of the game, and I don't think he lost the game either.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right, let's take a look at where they are in the standings here after the Sixers win 109-103. Make sure everybody hit the like button, like and subscribe to the show. Spread the word. Tell a friend to tell another friend that we are here. No matter what kind of Sixers performance you get, no matter how you feel about your team, we are here. We are here to talk about it with you. Win or lose, pulling your hair out, popping champagne, whatever it might, not finals champagne, just popping champagne because they won a regular season game.
Right, because we're excited. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just excited. So let's get to the standings of what took place over the last 2 days. Of course, they beat the Nets on Saturday, day 1 of the back-to-back, finish it off tonight. The only teams that were really impacted tonight with where you are and where you want to be, Detroit played Toronto. Toronto beat Detroit 119-108 at home. Toronto leaps.
They were really struggling, and they come out here and they beat Detroit.
Yeah, they won their game before that, so they won 2 in a row. So they beat Detroit. They jump back into the 6th spot. They are half a game back of 5 again. Orlando occupies the 5th seed. They have won 7 games in a row. Miami, they lost to Orlando, as Derek pointed out a little bit earlier. They jump into the 7th seed because of the Raptors win. They are half a game back of Toronto, a full game back of Orlando for 5th. Miami holds a 1-game lead over the Sixers, who have won 2 in a row. And Atlanta is now half a game back because they were idle. So Miami off, Atlanta off, and Orlando off today. They were all off as we look at the standings for the Sixers, and the Charlotte Hornets also off. They are 3 full games back of the Sixers at the moment. So tomorrow, Sixers are off. They will travel to Denver. Orlando hosts Atlanta, Derek. So a big matchup there. That's a nationally televised game. So Atlanta hosting Orlando. 7 in a row for Orlando. 9 in a row for the Hawks. That will be in Atlanta. That was supposed to be the night. Let's see if they take it out on the Magic, since they no longer have Magic City Night tomorrow as they host Orlando.
Boo!
And then Boston plays Phoenix, and that's the only other one that matters as far as the Sixers and the standings go at the moment. So, yes, the one to watch tomorrow, everybody, Atlanta hosting Orlando. And we just mentioned it with everything. Sixers trail Orlando by 2 games, and they hold a half-game lead over Atlanta. So if Orlando does win, that at least gives the Sixers another half game to be a full game up on the Atlanta Hawks. Charlotte is off. So is Miami. So is Toronto, as are the Sixers. But they could pick up a little bit of ground there if Atlanta loses. But that's going to be an intriguing one because you're not far if you want Orlando to lose, so you can create a little bit more of a logjam there. Mm-hmm. Maybe you root for Orlando so everybody's right there. The problem is with the Sixers and the Hawks, season sweep for the Atlanta Hawks on the season, 4-0. No tiebreaker there. So there's that. So good win, man. Good weekend. Didn't expect 2 wins, but I'll take it.
No, I did not.
I'll take it.
This is definitely one where, like, you felt like last night they had to get. And this was kind of like house money. And I did not expect house money to come up. Like, this was a really, really good win against a mediocre team. Let's not get it twisted. But given 4 starters out, given a back-to-back, second half of a back-to-back, which, again, oddly enough, the Sixers seem to excel at. Don't get it. Don't really care. All I care about is a W. And really getting contributions from players who, if you're going to sustain any of this without, again, you might get Joel back this week, but you're definitely not getting Paul, who, what do you have, 4 games left until Paul comes back? 4 or 5, something like that. You're not getting Kelly back for, I think Kelly's next reeval it was a 2-week reeval, right?
The Chicago game to the 24th. He should get that evaluation.
But again, that's just a reeval, not necessarily. You need some of these players to step up. And I give them a ton of credit for doing so and pulling out a win against an opponent that they just got their doors kicked in not too long ago. So yeah, this was real nice.
Yep. Fly Ray says Atlanta tomorrow, W over the Magic. So everybody, go ahead, place your wagers on the Atlanta Hawks. 9 in a row for them, 7 for the Orlando Magic. So just to let everybody know, we will be 3 p.m. tomorrow from the studio. Of course, it will be 3 p.m. with all of you tomorrow. And it should be a fun conversation as we look ahead to what's in store for the Sixers with the Denver Nuggets hosting the Sixers. That will be Tuesday night, and we will have our pregame coverage a little bit later. Denver also off tomorrow as I double check the schedule. Denver also off tomorrow, so they are waiting for the Sixers. Big loss for them last night against the Los Angeles Lakers. That was a fun overtime game last night, but they're off for a couple of days. They're waiting on the Sixers, so I think most of us feel the same way about that one. It's all about Sacramento and Utah after that for the Sixers. So we're going on overtime, everybody, as we get ready for roll call. Head to allphly.com for the remainder of the show. We appreciate everybody on the television side. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Make sure you read Kyle's recap from today's game at allphly.com. All right, let's get to it. It's time for us to say goodnight with the world famous roll call. Yes.
All right. I guess we will start this off with Mr. James, the world's #1 Carter Bryant fan. Appreciate you being in here, even if I don't agree with every one of the opinions that you expressed. Also start off with Edward Chamberlain, Sovereign Redemption, Jason of the Jungle, not Blazers. Jay. He is the adult in the room. He is Jason of the Jungle.
Can we shout out Sinners? Kyle Wright said they just won their second Oscar.
Okay.
All right.
Shout out Sinners.
There you go. The
There you
movie.
go. Even
Ryan
though
Coogler.
Devon is an admitted not fan of period pieces.
But I do like that movie. It's a good movie.
You're a unique individual. Terry Hayden 3408. Got to get these names gone. Got to get the old names back. Schoolboy, I believe, had a super chat. Do we have any other super chat? Was there another super chatter?
Yeah, there was Davon and who was the other one, Bree? Jay. It was Jay.
Oh, Jay. Well, appreciate you a second time, Jay. Let's see. Let me scroll up. Bunch of book bag TMU. Philly fan 25. Fly Rayneed.
What up, Ramid?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I'm
that
real
was
bad
Philly
with
Fly. Philly Fly was Ramid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot. In case Winona. I know Winona was here.
Yep. So
In case you haven't noticed, I forgot to jot down names because again, when Kyle's not here, I can. Mellow 3 Point. Mellow 3 Point was here earlier.
Mellow man.
Aaron.
What up, Aaron?
I think I might be running out of buffer.
I saw Rodum in there. I don't know if you said Rodum.
Probably didn't. If you have any others that you remembered,
Yeah.
I'm fumbling the bag here. Kyle Wright. Did we mention Kyle Wright?
Yep, because he just told us about Sinners. So shout out Kyle. Yeah.
D Craig. That's it. Sure Shmooey.
Sir Shmooey. I did see Sir Shmooey in there.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's it. That's all I got. I'm off.
That's all. All right. Everybody hit the like button, like and subscribe to the show. You know we appreciate it. As always, as we continue to build things at PHLY Network, and certainly here, all of you here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Tell everybody where we are Monday through Friday, of course, 3 p.m., but on game days, pre and post, half hour before, 10 minutes after for the post game here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Bree, great job as always. Thank you to Bree. Thank you to Julia for stepping in for Bree on the pregame, and appreciate Kyle with his pregame hit as always from the Xfinity mobile call-in line. Derek, good stuff. It's fun as always, man. We'll be back tomorrow. And when you do, hit the like button, like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to let you know that it is, in fact, whether it's 3 p.m., 6:30, 7, 10, that is showtime here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. For Bree, Kyle, Derek, I'm Devon. We'll see all of you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Yes, Freddie, it was a great team win. Great team win this weekend, Freddie. Hope they can keep it going next week. 3 on the road, Denver, Sacramento, and Utah. Everybody have a great rest of your Sunday night. Go watch the Oscars. Read Kyle's story at allphly.com. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Good night.
We all silly like the mayor.